In Gaza, hunger and starvation are driving Palestinians to take extreme risks in their search for something to eat. The scale of desperation is now visible from space. Satellite photos show the size of the crowds that meet humanitarian aid trucks when they enter civilian areas. Now take a look at this image. It was taken 2 weeks ago and it shows a junction that's in Khan Yunis in the south near the so-called Mirage corridor. Here it is again. That's now this time on July the 26th, and that's as trucks enter the area. Now, even while enforcing its policy of mass starvation, the Israeli military is still bombarding Gaza. Attacks on Gaza City have killed 4 Palestinians. That happened on Thursday, and a family of 4 was killed when a drone hit a tent in Deir al-Balah. At least 1 person was killed and several others wounded when Israeli forces opened fire on people waiting for food near the Netzarim junction, and that's in central Gaza. Now, in Gaza City, let's go live now to Hani, Mahmoud. Hani, so we just saw those satellite images earlier of people scrambling around those aid trucks, showing devastating scenes that we've seen in videos. But what are you seeing, and what does that say about the level of hunger and desperation there?
Sarah, it's a very high level of hunger and desperation. We know desperation leads to much of the chaos and then violence in majority of the cases. But on the ground, it's a scene of sheer overwhelming need. And what we're witnessing on the ground on a daily basis for the past weeks is heartbreaking. And as soon as aid trucks appear, when they do manage to get in, when they are allowed by the Israeli military, and by the way, they're only allowing them in a small numbers, a crowd of desperate people swarm them and climb on top of these trucks trying to grab even the little portion of food, because there is no organized distribution in the majority of the areas. If they don't get to these areas, they're not going to get food, and there is no protection for those who receive or deliver aid. And what we are witnessing now inside these areas, as soon as the trucks come in, people are not just scrambling, they are climbing, they are begging and sometimes fighting each other because they know if they don't get their hands on any of the food parts on the top, they and their children are not going to eat for that day. We hear stories of many of children, even now vulnerable groups they get out of displacement sites, they leave their families in order to bring food back because they've lost their only breadwinners. Their father or their older siblings have been killed throughout this genocide. So children fainting on the way because of the heat. Families walking long distance with no guarantee they're going to get food or water from these areas. And it shows the total collapse of the humanitarian access for these people. And it shows also the consequences of enforced starvation and dehydration. This is the tip of the iceberg of what keeps unfolding on daily basis near these crossing, apart from the ongoing killings and the tragedies that keeps unfolding.
Yeah, we're seeing those images of people scrambling, injuries as well. Now, on top of the very few trucks that have been able to get in, there have been airdrops. Egypt, United Arab Emirates and Jordan have dropped aid from the air. That happened on Wednesday. What is in these bundles, and has this method been effective at all?
Absolutely not. The majority of these pallets and crates, were dropped in areas that are marked as red areas, red zones. The Israeli military is in control of these areas, so people could not be in those areas in order to pick up the food that was dropped. So there is already a loss. It's pointless. It's not sufficient. It does not address the deepening humanitarian crisis, and it's filled with ready-to-eat meals. And these ready-to-eat meals are not addressing the ongoing consequences of starvation and the spread of famine. People are in need of constant supply, sustainable supplies of vitamin and proteins and carbs and other basic necessities in order to survive these difficult conditions. So one pallet or couple of them here or there are not addressing the real problems that is caused by the ongoing blockade, the deliberate prevention of food coming in. It's so far as we talk to people, there is more dignified way to get food. There are the landing crossings. Open the landing crossing, allow the trucks to come in a more scalable, dignified ways for people. Allow the international organization to do this. Airdrop so far, not only it's not sufficient, apart from the fact that it's a spectacle versus being substance, but it's also dangerous. Not only it falls in areas that are controlled by the Israeli military, but it also there are many incidents where it fell on people inside their tents and injured or killed many of these people. So there is a risk involved with it. But when you look at a population that is on a survival mode now, it will do whatever in order to survive.
Yeah, of course. Thanks very much for painting that picture there. Hani Mahmoud in Gaza City.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.